Will Marre, co-founder of the Covey Leadership Center, helped build The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People into one of the best-selling self-help books of all time. As author, coach, and leadership advisor to Fortune 500 companies, Will has spent nearly 30 years helping people revolutionize the way they live, work, and play.
A few years ago, I was visiting a professor who was 65 years old, and he said he'd just come back from teaching in Israel. And he had passed through Switzerland, and he said, "We've got to climb the Matterhorn." Now, this is a thought that had never occurred to me. He said, "It's the most magnificent looking mountain in all of Europe. We've got to do it. You've only got one life." I mean, he's really getting me psyched up. So I said, "Yeah," because, you know, I'm getting gray hair and old, and yeah, I can still be a man, yeah. So I said, "Sure. When are we going to do it? A year from now?" "Great. I got a year to get ready." And he said, "You ought to take your son." "You mean Fun Boy?" "Yeah, he'd love it." "Do you think he'll make it?" "Oh, he'll be fine." So I go home and make the biggest mistake of my life. I tell Fun Boy, "We're going to climb the Matterhorn." Now, Fun Boy's a rock climber. "Would you like to climb the Matterhorn?" "Are you kidding, Dad?" "Yeah, when are we going?" "Oh, in about a year." "Oh, yeah, it's going to be the greatest thing." He told all his friends he was going to climb the Matterhorn. So I was committed. And I had lots of frequent flyer miles. Made the mistake of booking tickets to Geneva. We get there, we drive, and this is what we see. Now, the thing about the Matterhorn is the little village of Zermatt is about 3,000 feet, and the Matterhorn is about 15,000, just under 15,000 feet. So the difference between 15,000 and 3 is 12. And 12,000 feet right in front of your face seems very high. And if you look at it, it's sort of, it's a pinnacle all by itself. There's no shoulder mountains. It just stands up there and says, "I'm big, I'm bad, just come on, try." First of all, I was overwhelmed. I thought, whoa, what was I thinking? Because guess what? I didn't do any preparation. I just showed up in my tennis shoes. Oh. Well, right at the bottom in this village, they have a cemetery for all the people who died on the Matterhorn. That is not a good sign. There is no way I'm going to climb the Matterhorn. There's no chance. That's lunacy. Now, in the meantime, I'd gotten a bunch of friends to come, colleagues from work. My best friend, Chris, I'd say, "You've got to come and climb the Matterhorn with us. Oh, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." So he came. Idiot me. So I go back to my son. That's the first night I got there, and I said, "Son, whoa, 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 ho, ho. I think we're going to watch." Dad, there's climbers all over this town. We got to do this. It's going to be. I said to my son, this is over. This is done. I said, "Dad, just come down to the guide place." "Guide place?" "Yeah, there's guides that take you up on the Matterhorn." So I go down to this guide place. All the guides are kind of Swiss, German, very tough. So I walk in and I said, "So you can take people up on the Matterhorn?" "Yes." "Oh, how hard is it?" "If you have to ask, it's not a good sign." "How dangerous is it?" "Oh, 20 people a year die trying to climb it." I'm out. Whoa, son, whoo, 20 dead. And then he says the magic words. He said, "But no one who's had a personal guide has ever died on the Matterhorn for 35 years. I said, "Well, that's a pretty good bumper sticker, Gustav. Nobody's died who's had a guide." So my son's looking at me. "Hey, personal guide." So the next day, we go to this outfitter, and I get crampons, I get all the gear. I don't even know what the stuff's called. I'm really ready to go. We have to hike they say, it's a 2-hour hike to get to the climbing hut. The climbing hut is right under the ridge where it sort of flattens out. There's a climbing hut called the Hornley Hut. So I get to the Hornley Hut, and it's a hike, so you can make it. I got this backpack. My son gets there. It's supposed to be 2 hours. It took me 4. He gets there in 2 hours. I'm coming in saying, "I think I've climbed the Matterhorn." "Dad, we're at this is 10,000 feet. This is nothing. We're just starting." Now, by this time, it's just vertical. It's just straight up. It's just all rock, straight up. I don't know how anybody climbs it. And I'm sitting there telling myself, "I'll never make it, I'll never make it, I'll never make it. There's no way I can make it. This is so far outside of my comfort zone. There is no chance I'm going to make it." Well, at this point, I'm so feeling anxious and overwhelmed because what I'd had in my mind was, if I'm going to climb the Matterhorn, I'm going to climb it. I'm going to get to the summit. This is all before, of course, I showed up. When I got there, and it was so overwhelming, I just felt completely, this is impossible. This is a dream that is not going to happen for me. So that night, I say to my son, I just don't think I can do this. And he just looks at me. He's got these great brown eyes, Fun Boy. He said, "Dad, just try." We sleep in all these mattresses that are on the floor. I can't sleep. So I get out of bed. I go up, the full moon. I look up at the mountain. I have a mental transformation. I say to myself, the point is I'm here with my son. The point is that I'm going to try to do this to show my son how much I love him. The mountain is just the theme park. I'll just go as far as I can and enjoy his experience. Oh, I just felt a weight of the world just fly off my shoulders. So I slept for maybe an hour. Then my guide woke me up. We went into the breakfast room where they had raw bacon and burnt toast. My guide comes out to meet me. He's very nice. He says 2 words. We go. My guide wasn't really talkative. We go. That's it. No preparation, no nothing. And we started the climb, and the climb was, it was harder than I thought it was going to be. It was just hand over hand. It was like climbing a rock ladder for hours and hours. And there's just nothing but exposure on either side. You're roped to this guy, but you know one false step, you could just be down the mountain, bouncing, dead. It's totally understandable why 20 people died to me. By the way, fun boy, Chris, they're moving on up ahead. So finally we get to this razorback ridge, and there's these ice walls, and you have to climb hand over hand on these big cotton rolls, and you stick your feet in the ice wall, and you just try to make yourself go up, and it's so exhausting. This is 12, 13,000 feet. And what I'd ask myself is this: can I go a little further? I just keep going until I said, I'm just going to keep going until I can't go any further. He can carry me down. That's what I paid him for. I make it up the first ice wall. My guide just keeps saying, come. I make it up the second, the third, the fourth. Now, finally, I'm right at the top, 600 feet from the top. I walk up the first 100 feet. And there's Chris. There's my son. We're not going to the top without you. Gosh, at that moment, that was a payoff. That's what I look like. I'm the guy on the right. There was Chris next to me. That was my son. See, he's fresh. He was 15. He didn't think it was hard. Still to this day, Dad, what was the big deal? Now the point is this. When I started this whole adventure, it was impulsive. You know, the pleasure of climbing the Matterhorn. Sounds great, going to Switzerland with a bunch of friends, my son and all that sort of thing. Just totally impulsive. When I got there, I saw how much pain it was likely to bring. And of course, all the time I had a set of goals that it was really important I would, summit so I can come back and tell everybody that I summited. It wasn't until that I transformed my dream into meaning when I really understood that what this was all about was just an arena to discover and express love, which is what I think life is, that I was able to reach the summit of that Matterhorn.